Hello everyone, my name is Random1785 and welcome back to another video. In this video, I found even more AI that can do math, which is honestly pretty cool. So the three AI on store today are Copilot from Microsoft, I believe, Gemini from Google, and the final one, Me6 on Discord. For some reason, okay, Me6 got the first question wrong, but like, Me6 actually wasn't too bad. Like, I would have thrown Me6 out if like Me6 was like about the same as character AI, but Me6 is actually not horrible. Despite the really annoying text, it can kind of write proof solutions. But yeah, so in this video, we're going to be going over these three AI and we're going to give them the really easy contest, and we can add the other three AIs to the spreadsheet and we can kind of see which math AI, or which AI rather, is the best at doing math. So if you had math homework, which AI would you send it to and how accurate would it be? So we're going to go question by question to kind of, I don't know, keep it interesting. So the first question is you just add stuff together. Copilot gets B, Gemini gets B, and Me6 still didn't get C. And the issue with Me6 is Me6 doesn't really show work as much. But Me6 got C and got it wrong. But other than that, it's a really easy question. The second question we have is this divisibility question. And Me6 gets this wrong as well. Okay, trust me, Me6 gets better, okay? I think character after I sent like 9 problems, I got like 7 wrong, so I just threw it out then. Me6 made a comeback later. But I don't know why. Me6 said it's not divisible anything. It's clearly wrong. So anyways, I told Me6 to like, would you leave a blank? And Me6 did not want to leave a blank, so it picked 290 as the answer, which is not one of the answers. And then I said pick an answer choice, so it just said B, which is 4. That does not really work, but okay, buddy. That's not how divisibility by 7 works, but it works in this case. That's pretty crazy, and it gets it correct. So I'm 14. 4 is not divisible by 7, so obviously, I don't know, 17 is not divisible by 7, but okay, whatever. Also, nice spelling. Jeez. But yeah, it gets it correct with the wrong logic, and Copilot does indeed get it correct. And the funny thing is, it found the contest, like it Googled and it found the contest, which is very cheating. Copilot's actually kind of cool. I think Copilot, out of all the math AI, I'm gonna answer it right now. I think it's really good because it gives you all these links. I think it's a really well-made AI, and that's definitely really accurate. And also, yeah, Google the contest solution, so it literally knows all the solutions. I don't know how it managed to read that because there's no like text. But yeah, if Copilot gets anything wrong, we could laugh at it really hard because it literally Googles the questions. Okay, all right, question 3. This is really easy. You just divide it. And I'm going to be skimming over these questions since I've done 2 videos covering these questions already. So I think the only thing I'll really point out is if they make like a major mistake. If they just get the correct solution, like 71, then I just won't care. I think I'll just nitpick all the AI. It for some reason I don't know why it rounded to 71 and then said we rounded it. That was really weird, but I still got the correct answer. And finally for question 3, Me6 also just divides it and gets the correct option E, which is pretty nice. Now we're on to question 4. The LaTeX bot jumped out, which is pretty silly. And you know, pretty nice. I think it can read LaTeX. I'm not sure if most of these AI can read LaTeX, but I think Me6 can somehow read LaTeX. And it just gave it. It didn't show any steps, but it got the correct answer. So congrats. And Gemini can definitely read it because it instantly converted it and just added it to get it correct. And yeah, you just add stuff together. If an AI gets this question wrong, I will laugh in its face. Next question, the AI just evaluated all of them manually and found that this indeed was odd, which is very easy. Gemini also does the exact same thing and, just rules them out. And finally, Me6 also does the exact same thing and gets it correct. This is just my test server, so I just have all sorts of bots just lying around. It's actually so funny. But this one's also really simple. You just divide, which Me6 does. Gemini does the exact same thing and gets it correct, and so does Copilot. Next is the first tricky question, and let's see how well the AI answer it. I want to check the quality of their answer. So Copilot gets a correct answer without I'd say if you put this in a proof contest, this actually wouldn't work because you don't actually establish that it did it correctly. The corners and along the 4 sides, which is correct here, but it doesn't really address the fact. It just kind of says 10 meters and gets a correct answer, which is questionable. Let's see if Gemini does any better. So Gemini does a really good solution. So obviously the length and width have 9 and 7 posts respectively. And if you've watched those videos, I've talked about why this is extensively. And then interestingly, we subtract 2 from the amount of overcounted posts. Now this isn't necessarily true. So like, because if we just randomly subtracted, so these are our posts right here, and we subtracted 2, we would just remove the corner post entirely, and that wouldn't be correct. But the lucky thing is if I take these 2 lines, and then I put them these 2 lines here, and we take 1 out here, and then we take 1 out here, and then we take 1 out here, and then we take 1 out here. If I say like these 2 are the ones I'm taking out when I draw these 2 lines, then that would be taking out 2. I think it subconsciously realizes this, but doesn't communicate into words. But it still is correct, because obviously it does get the correct answer. Now, does Me6 get the correct answer? And it indeed does not, unfortunately. I don't know what happened here. Divided 280 by 10, but then it added 32. I think it just randomly added the 4 corners, which is the same mistake as ChatGPT. Because again, it doesn't communicate its steps very well, so that is the issue. Alright, next question. Me6 actually has a pretty good steps here, and gets the correct answer 12. Copilot actually gets the correct answer here as well, and Gemini gets the correct answer here as well, which is pretty nice. This one is also a really, really easy one. You just like bro literally wrote code and didn't really do anything. But yeah, just really easy question. I don't see anyone getting this wrong. Also gets it right. You just solve the algebra, and Me6 also gets it correct. So really easy question there. Next question is a bit of a reading challenge. Yeah, so again, this is like kind of a reading challenge. If someone wins, they took less time. So if Bonnie lost, that means that Bonnie had a longer time than Wendy. So if you add it, it's incorrect. The same thing, Copilot also messes this up. Copilot actually accidentally adds as well, which is incorrect. And this is Gemini. Does Gemini do it correctly? It does. Subtract it. And this is indeed the correct answer. So surprisingly, only Gemini gets a correct answer here, which is very, very cool. Now we're going on to section B. Very, very exciting. This is the rectangular tile room. Now this thing did render correctly. It kind of just simplifies text, I think. This is a good solution. It lays out all the tiles that touch the wall and then just subtracts 4, which is very, very accurate, and that's how you do it. Okay, this one completely fell apart. So there's 10 tiles along the length and 5 tiles that touch the wall. So this is correct. But then it just adds these together. And then for some reason it picks 50 as the answer. And it also Googled the solution. The solution's right here. It literally Googled the solution and got it wrong, which is pretty crazy. Also, 50 is an answer. Who put 50 as the answer? But apparently it tricked the AI. So that's pretty impressive, I guess. And finally, Me6, didn't forget about you. Me6 gets 30. Unfortunate. Me6 forgot to subtract 4, obviously, because it just took the perimeter, and then it gave up. That's wrong. But yeah, that's the mistake Me6 makes. Now let's go to question 12. This is a really easy question. You just do ratio stuff. And what in the world? I think I'll count this wrong since it picked A, and A is 100. I think because technically you're supposed to circle like a letter, right? So if it thought A was 200 and circled A, you would get it wrong, obviously. So we're going to count this as wrong, which is unfortunate. Copilot does the exact same thing, but luckily realizes that C is 200 and not A, and Gemini also gets C correct. Very nice. Now we have this Carl guy that like loses his salary and stuff. So Me6 manually calculates it and gets the answer, which is pretty nice. Gemini also manually calculates it, getting the correct answer, and Copilot also manually calculates it. Really boring. The next one, this is also pretty tricky for some AI, because you need actually logical thinking here. I got it correct here because the greatest possible is when it's 1 and 12, which is correct. If you calculate them all manually, you will see that is 26. Here, Gemini says that 26 is not the greatest perimeter yet, which is very weird. And then says, oh, then it's 16. I don't know why it did that, because this is the issue. I don't know who coded it, but like if we move to smaller factors, the perimeter increases. Like if you have 0.5 and 24, your perimeter is a lot bigger. So if you like compress the rectangle slowly and slowly until it's like this, right? This is a very long length, right? So like the thinner you make one of the sides, the greater your perimeter is gonna be. And I think that's something AI fails to recognize. But unfortunately, it picks B, which is 16, and that is the wrong answer. So goodbye, Gemini. Now, how did Me6 do? Me6 thought 3 times 4 was the greatest perimeter. Very unfortunate, and got it wrong as well. Okay, now to this very easy probability question that somehow triggered the LaTeX bot again. Now, Me6 does this probability question really easily. You sum up how many cubes there are, and then you find how many green cubes, and then basic definition of probability. Very, very easy question. Copilot also does the exact same thing, and also just Googles the answer. There's something I want to note about contest and like English in general. So Quincy sits in the chair between Paul and Surrender, means that if we have a circular table with like 5 seats, so 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So if Paul is here, and then the other guy who is Surrender here, then Quincy is in the chair between them, right? But if you word it in this way, Quincy sits between Paul and Surrender. Technically speaking, you could put Quincy here because it's technically between Paul and Surrender. Like, it's really weird, actually, how this works. And I think this is correct, although I have gotten many a question wrong to not reading the question correctly, so could be wrong here. But since it's a table of 5, I think it makes sense that this should be this chair, because it doesn't really make sense to put Quincy in either of these 2 chairs. For some reason, Quincy's between Paul and Surrender, and then Tony's not beside Surrender. So then Tony's next to Quincy. This is wrong because Quincy's literally surrounded. Like, I don't know how Tom is getting here, or Tony. So that's wrong. So Surrender is Quincy's not correct. A very interesting thing I found about this question, I just realized, is that if Quincy's here, then Tony can't be sitting next to Quincy, so you can instantly choose or rule out all the answers that have Quincy in them, which is basically all of them, because it won't be E, obviously. That's really weird. But it gets it wrong, unfortunately. Let's see if Gemini did any better. Okay, this entire thing is a dumpster fire. So it says Surrender and Paul are sitting on the other side of Tony. Surrender and Paul are never next to Tony. Like, unfortunately, that's just not happening. So it puts Quincy in the correct place on this one. It puts Quincy in the wrong place on this one, which is unfortunate here. I think this, yeah, so this is the correct seating order right here. And the answer is PR, but unfortunately it just gets it wrong. And finally, Me6. Does Me6 get it correct? No. No, Me6 does not. Okay, it's not that bad. Tony is definitely sitting next to Paul. That is definitely correct. If we go back to the beautiful little drawing here, if I put Quincy here, then Tony has to be next to Paul because this chair is not allowed. But the issue is, Me6 didn't realize there's another person that goes here, and instead used Quincy because it was the closest. Not really closest, but like kind of, right? He was getting there. He was getting there. Next question. Now, I actually initially asked this question to test the AI, so they probably would have memorized it, and Me6 got this question completely wrong, but during the actual contest, like here, I think I like pointed the correct answer to Me6, so it saved it in its database, but it gets it correct here. I will show you the first attempts at me asking this problem. Yeah, so the Me6 first got 20, and then I said, how wrong, loser? So then it said 4.47. This is getting colder. So then I got 39.94. This is a little bit closer, but not quite. And then it got another 39.94. And I typoed and said 15, and then finally got the correct answer here, but then it said 34.46 because I gave it 15 instead. And I just said I got it finally. And then I gave another question here, which is unfortunate. I was just testing them, yeah, to see if they actually managed to do contest math. But yeah, that was Me6's first attempt, but I guess it improved, and we'll let it happen, I guess. Anyways, Me6 has to correct here. Gemini does not get a correct here. Wait, what? Okay, that's actually a very interesting solution. It argues that each rectangle here is the large square minus 2 small squares, which is correct. If you follow this logic, it misses adding 4 here in the final calculation, which would have taken it to 36 the correct answer, but it got 32 instead, and then I said it would leave a blank, and then yeah. That's actually really interesting. I actually want to know if that's true or not. Because yeah, that would make sense. If I like drew the thing, so like the other square was like minuscule, yeah, that wouldn't make any sense in this case, right? That is definitely not true. Yeah, so I think that's just by some sheer coincidence that is a correct line of logic, which is pretty crazy. And I would have gotten the correct answer if I didn't forget to add the small square here, which is kind of crazy. Next, Copilot. Copilot gets it. What did you do? I just pulled this logic out of nowhere and pulled this logic out of nowhere and squared it to get the incorrect answer. Very unfortunate. Next question. This dude Googled. Cheater. Very, very cringe. Now, Gemini does not Google it, but doesn't tell. Now, it says Friday or Tuesday, which was kind of insane. 7 days after Sunday is Sunday, unsurprisingly, and Tuesday. What in the world? This thing did not do very well, and it's not it chose E, which isn't actually not possible to tell. It kind of just took it from that question. But sure, I guess it chooses E, and obviously it is not Friday. So, could you imagine if E was the correct answer and it chose it randomly? That would be really funny. I don't know where it got it from. This is the issue with not showing your work. This is why, kids, you should show your work in math, because I don't know what Me6 did, but that's wrong, obviously. I can't figure out Me6's logic here. I've been going over this for like 2 minutes, and I just can't figure out what it did. Like, okay, so like Juan says Juan has 6, and then Mary had 5. Now this isn't the total points Juan had at all, and then 5. She must have lost 1 point. Now that's not true. She actually would have lost 3 points because Juan won 3 times. And that's really weird. 6 points gained by Juan and 1 point lost by Mary. This would actually be 4 games, which actually isn't true at all, because if Juan wins, then instantly Mary loses points, so that's not correct in any way. And then pull 7 out of absolute thin air and gets a correct answer, which was really insane. Now, this is obviously not acceptable for a proof contest in any single shape, way, or form, but it is the correct answer from MC. So we will give points to Me6, although it did nothing correct here, which is kind of insane. Yeah, so very interestingly, there's another trap here, I guess. So Juan's total points was 6 since he won 3 games. So this is actually incorrect, because Juan would have lost some games as well. So Cobalt makes the incorrect assumption that Juan's points is 6 at the end of the game. In reality, Juan's points, I think, is going to be 2, I believe. I think. Yes, 2. Because what is actually correct is that the total points do represent the number of games played, because each game results in net gain of 1 point. This is actually pretty important. But the incorrect assumption here is that Juan's total points is 6. Now 11 would have been, it should have picked 11, but for some reason it picked 8 for whatever reason. I don't know why. Probably because I thought 11 was too high, so then it just randomly went low. But yeah, that is not the correct answer, but it was good logic. You know, this is still better than Me6, but it's still incorrect. And Gemini, I think, had the funniest response to this. You know, if Me6 wasn't funny enough, it just gave up. I tried twice, and then I said, please attempt solving the question, and it just doxed me. So that was pretty crazy. Yeah. Anyways, I'm gonna cover Gemini before I accidentally dox myself by like leaving a frame unblurred. So we're gonna go to the cube question here, and there's very interesting, and it does get it very nicely. So it does realize that edges is shared by 2 faces, and a single red edge can contribute a maximum of 2 faces, and then we need to paste them 3, and it actually does work. That's really good. This is kind of how you solve this. And kind of these logic-based arguments are pretty hard for AI to pull off. So I'm kind of proud of Gemini for doing it here. For Copilot does... That's kind of weird. But I don't know where it got the answer from. Maybe this link has the key to it. Oh, yeah. It just... yeah. It Googled the problem. Good job. And finally, for Me6, it is 3. That's pretty nice. Now this is, again, Me6 just does not know what it's doing and got the correct answer. That's actually kind of insane. This is like the one kid in math contest that just guesses everything and gets everything correct. Like, jeez. So first it assigns a red edge to every face, which is 6 red edges. And then it says there's 2 faces that still don't have a red edge. You just gave every face a red edge. What do you mean there's 2 faces that still need a red edge? So then it added 1 more red edge to each of the faces. So that's 8. Red edges, alright? And it said 3. Great job. I don't know where he got 3 from. Probably Googled. I don't know. But okay. And now we're on to the C section. We have this basketball thing. And for some reason I picked 41 with no logical backing or like any argument. So it's wrong. So for some reason, this isn't really true. I don't think any of none of these are actually true, which is kind of crazy. Yeah, but it still got the correct answer. Did it Google it again? It did. Okay, it did Google again. But that's really, really strange. But yeah, I still got the correct answer, despite none of this making sense. Kind of similar to Meesix. And finally, for Gemini, okay, so it said B, C, and E, you can add numbers up together, which is nice. Some of the A numbers from 1 and 2 cannot be 52. That is unfortunately incorrect, buddy. Maximum sum is 8 times 8 is 64, which means that 52 is below it. What? Okay, that makes no sense. But eliminated 52 for some reason. Then it got 35 again. So then it picked 2 of them. So I said you can only pick 1. And unfortunately, it picked the correct answer out of the 50-50, which is unfortunate. But okay, cool, I guess. So none of them actually had a convincing argument, but one of them got it right. Next is the shadow question. Very, very famous for tricking AI. Let's see if any of them get it correct. Okay, so this actually gives you the correct answer here for whatever reason. I don't really know why, and I'm too lazy to figure it out at this point. So, blah. Yeah, 8/3 is the correct answer. I don't know why that's correct. There probably is some sort of mathematical argument to be made about it, but okay. But then I realized you don't need to find S. So it just solves for X, which is the length of Sin's shadow when he's 8 meters away. For some reason, he just gets ratio, and I think an infant could realize that the 12 just goes there, so you get 12, and it gets confused, and it just it proves it. I don't even know what's going on. It completely fell apart for this problem, so not a really great AI-based solution. But I picked 3, which is incorrect. Alright, let's see if Copilot is any better. Never mind. It got 6 meters and rounded it to 3. So no. Let's see what Meesix does. And it gets 2.5 for whatever reason. Similar. It says proof by similar triangle. The answer is 2.5. The answer is C. That's not correct. So none of them got it correct. And this question has managed to sum all 5 AI. That's actually kind of impressive. But okay. This is the square question. And Meesix does the exact same question I did, which is we bash it. And it is 7. That's pretty nice. Copilot does the whoa. What did you do, man? Okay, so according to square meters, which is the same thing Maastricht did, which I really hated. And then the largest square is gonna be this. Now that is unfortunately not correct. That's not how adding stuff works. Yeah, it completely fell apart, and it rounded the answer to 9. Because 11 was too high, and that is incorrect, unfortunately. Gemini, what does Gemini do? Okay, so it does get it kind of correct, and it starts the setup to start bashing it, but then it does this for whatever reason, which isn't really correct. Like, you can't divide by the increase, that's not how geometric sequences work, my guy. Kids, if you're watching at home, cover your eyes. This is not good for you. Don't learn from this AI. I don't know where I got 7 from, but adding another square, the 8th one takes us over 35. It doesn't really show that, but I guess it is correct. If you add the 8th one, it takes us over 75. So it gets the correct answer with, like, the weirdest proof I've seen in my entire life. But okay, I guess. Cool beans. Alright, now is the goldfish question. So the answer here is 34, which it got it wrong. So let me find the mistake. Oh, this is so tragic. So I got it correct because we need to throw as much goldfish into aquarium 1 as possible. So then it tries to find the worst case, which is if we put everything in aquarium 2, we would end up with 33.33, which rounds to 34. And then for some reason it takes this as the answer. Like it had the logic. We need to throw them in aquarium 1, and then decided to try to throw everything in aquarium 2 for whatever reason to try the worst case, and I think its computing power just stopped here because it stopped actually considering the correct case and took 34 as the answer, which is incorrect. So that's very unfortunate. And I said, would it leave a blank? And it said, yes, we're leaving a blank. So unfortunate. So I don't know what it's doing here. It said, for some reason, okay, well, that's actually technically true, 5x and 8y. And it sets us a system of equations that's just unsolvable because you can't solve this, idiot. And it gets 30 out of thin air and gets it wrong. So good job. Last hope, Meesix. Can you get the problem? No, got 30. Darn it. And there's no work to be shown here because it's Meesix. Final question, everyone. Can Meesix do the final question? So there were 16 games played by each team, which I actually don't think is correct. No. Each game would have played each team would have played 9 games because you play if you're the Royals, you play these guys 4 times. So no, 12. Sorry, you have 12 games in your what season? I don't know. So this is unfortunately incorrect. And it says by using the point system, we can subtract stuff, and then we get 7 out of thin air. Now I actually forgot this problem and didn't actually know which choice was correct. The correct choice here is C, not D. And I thought it was D for whatever reason. My memory sucks, but it's not D. Let's see if Copilot can get it correct here. So interestingly here, it for some reason finds out it's 31 games in a tie. Like it falls apart here, right? So it's like it's pretty correct. Other than the fact that there's 12 games played, that's definitely not correct. It finds the total points, and then for some reason points from losses is 36, although it's 0 for whatever reason. And then points from wins and ties is in 31. And then for some reason I thought all leagues were ties, got 31. And then pick 7 out of thin air. Like, goodness gracious. Did this guy Google the question? Google the answer? Oh my gosh. And it realizes there were no ties. That's not even the answer choice. It took 0. It put all this code and then just had no ties without it. There's not a single number here. That's crazy. But okay, it's yeah. I think one thing we've learned is that AI does not know how to read, which actually makes sense because I think the way AI works is they convert this into like random like binary strips or whatever. So it really can't read very well. And especially if you give like fine details, it definitely cannot read as well. So yeah, it definitely cannot read. Like so many times I've had AI say, okay, this answer choice, C, says 5 million, and it doesn't say 5 million. But yeah, that is the answers for all the AI. I hope this has been entertaining, me showing the mistakes and how many they've gotten correct. And with that being said, we will be tallying the points. Let's get a little drum roll, and we will see the results in 3, 2, 1. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, the results are in. Okay. Now, a lot of the time when I was doing this, I felt like I was literally marking them wrong, or I thought they did a lot better than this. Let's just say that. All right. So let's start with Copilot here. A little drum roll. We can see Copilot's answer is ready, and boom, score of 89 points, which is better than ChatGPT but worse than Motion Shark. Then we can see Gemini. Gemini doing very well for the first 13 questions. Very accurate bot. But fell apart at the very end, unfortunately, and ends up with a score of 102, just 6 points shy of Motion Shark, which is very unfortunate. And finally, Me6. Surprise! I was not expecting Me6 to be this bad, getting only a score of 58. And at this one, I'm kind of curious to what character AI would have gone, because I feel like it probably would have gone better than 58. So I'm going to quickly run a character AI anyways, since Me6 did this poorly. Me6 actually was kind of on par with ChatGPT. But you can see how bad ChatGPT is compared to the other 2 rivals, I would say, in terms of AI. But it was literally 9 points off of ChatGPT. 2 questions and it would have been there. These 2 questions even, and it would have been there. Yeah, we're gonna run over character AI real quick. I'm not gonna go over its mistakes unless it's something really horrendous I want to put in the video. But yeah, let's quickly add character AI right here and see what happens. Okay, so I just made character AI do the questions, and it was really, really bad. Okay, this guy could not do basic math. But in the end, it ends up with a score of 74, actually beating good old ChatGPT over here, who is currently second last, just behind Me6 here, which is kind of crazy. But yeah, character AI actually managed to beat Me6. And I just want to show you some of the funny things it did. In this image here, it got the correct answer 28 and then switched to D for whatever reason. In this question right here, it literally got the wrong order of the Sundays, claiming that the first was an even number, and then subtracted one for no reason, and got the correct answer, which was absolutely incredible. For one of the answers, it told me the answer was L, okay? It told me the answer was L. From A, B, C, D, E. It picked L. I don't even know how that happened. But yeah, it told me the correct answer was L. For this one, it did absolutely nothing, and then picked C out of nowhere and it got it correct. And unfortunately, question 2 deleted itself, which is why I'm not going to go over what it did, because a lot of it deleted itself, because I think that's how character AI worked, and I wasn't recording because I didn't know about it. For this one, all of this is just horribly wrong, and it picked D out of thin air and got it correct. This is it is insane. It's too good. What can I say? But yeah, that will be the video. I think it's gonna be like 40 minutes after I'm done editing, which is not gonna be great. But yeah, that will be it for this video. Hope you all enjoyed, and I will see you in the next one. Goodbye.